And there it is. What's up, niggas and niggettes? Call this one The Girl in the Dream. R.I.P. to my nigga Rollo, Ashe, Grand Rising God. It's going down. So I used to have this reoccurring dream where it's this little white girl running through this school and running through this church. So hold that thought because I used to go around the corner and there was this little alleyway between these buildings, and I used to always hear this little girl saying, "Help me, help me." So I didn't really tell nobody because I felt like couldn't nobody hear the voice but me, and people might think I'm crazy or some shit. So the shit just kept happening. But one thing I realized about, it was a long warehouses about a whole block, and they just had different buildings. Like you could get a little spot. So when I used to go walk through the alley, it was these two back doors to these warehouse offices is what they do in there. So it would just always be open. So I would go in one and they would have shit like speaker wire, like old amplifiers, speakers, like shit that you can use in cars, houses, all kind of shit to do with radio and shit. So I would go in there and get shit. I even got a lot of shit that my cousin Daryl hooked up to his radio and shit, and we just banging and throwing parties and shit off some shit that I got out of there. But one day, and this was later, I was like, we was kids. It was Avis King and Marquette and me, and we was pushing each other real fast in a Kroger's basket, but we ended up pushing each other all the way to that alleyway. And we was like, because the alleyway kind of indented down so the water had somewhere to go. So we was like, we just finna push each other real fast down the alleyway. You know what I'm saying? We were just kids. So, you know what I'm saying? I bent down to tie my shoe and I heard the voice. So I was like, damn. So I didn't say nothing. So the voice got a little louder again. I looked at them as like they didn't hear it the second time. But then the third time, she said it real loud, "Help me." And then they looked at each other and looked at me. And I said, "Man, y'all heard it?" And they took off running so fast, nigga, they feet wasn't even touching the ground. And I guarantee if anybody from my hood called Marquette Senegal to Avis King and ask them about that shit, you just look at their face when they realize what, and they gonna be like, man, nigga, cause she said it real loud. It just sounded like somebody screaming from heaven. It didn't sound like it was coming from earth in the alleyway. It seemed like it was just coming down on us like, help me. Like that shit was scary to them niggas. But to me, I was so happy because somebody else heard it and it confirmed it. It was like whatever the spirit, the little girl, she made sure that she confirmed it. Like, you see that nigga, they heard it too. But one thing I know is that in this movie, called Stir of Echoes and other ghost movies, this is what they always say. Like the black man told the white woman, he said, if a ghost is telling you help me and you can hear it or see it, then the ghost not gonna stop messing with you until you actually help it. And I always remembered that, but I was just a kid, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know how to help it. So go back to the dream. The little girl that's saying help me, she also be running around in this dream, but she be running through this old schoolhouse. And I look in the classroom, it'll be like two students and the teacher be sitting at the desk, but they'll be like zoned out and that shit kind of toe up and all raggedy looking. And they just look like zoned out, like they're in some zombie zone. And then we'll run through the school, go in the office, everybody all zombied out, like really no kids in there, like 2 or 3 kids in a class. And then the dream was weird. I was like, what the fuck going on? So she would run, and when she would leave out these doors of the school, she would end up in this church courtyard. And she would run through this church, and it would be all old and broken down, hole in the roof. And then she would run through that to the church courtyard, and then she would disappear under that little thing that you sit under. And I used to always, all through my life, I used to say, man, what do that dream mean? And, later on in life, I got conscious. I started, figuring shit out. So, and I also like read a book on dreams and how to interpret dreams. So one day, I felt like the spirit was just entering me and say, man, you remember that dream? You remember that dream? So this is what it was. This is what the spirit said, that when I was a kid and when I was like 4 and 5 years old and I was having that dream and she was running through that old school, the spirit was saying that that's not now. That's not when I was a kid. When I was a kid, school was thriving. The white man had that learn shit drilled down in niggas. You was learning and you was going to church and you believed in Jesus more than you believed in yourself. Like that's how it was when I was a kid. But flash back to now. Look at the world now, man. School is out of there. That shit is broken down and his religion is breaking down. And man, all his lies is really breaking down. And like that's what the old school and the old church, that's why it was all tore up, and that's why wasn't nobody there. And that's why the people that was there was in that fucked up little zombie zone, is because nowadays they using mind control and they got everybody dumbed down. Like think about it, nigga. It's songs on the radio, you can't even understand what the nigga's saying, but you jamming the song. You jamming some shit you don't understand, man. That's real stupid. You gotta be real stupid. Like they trying to make us stupid, nigga. And that's what the dream showed me when I was like 4, 5 years old. It showed me today. It showed me 2020. And that bitch was accurate, my nigga. The dream was accurate. Like there is no more white man school. There is no more Jesus. Nigga, it's time to figure it out now, nigga. It's that the dream has come true. Like it's here now. So I wanted to do a video on that little girl. You know what I'm saying? She was a little white girl, had blonde hair, and she had like a white and blue dress on. And it was like a cement slab next to the ranch where our house used to be. And that, you know what I'm saying? That's around the place where the little girl was saying, help me. Well, later on in life, I learned about an Anubis ritual where you could probably like set a spirit free, like if it's trapped between worlds. So I thought about her, and then I said the little ritual and the shit I wanted to say, like free her up and let her go where she wanna go. You know what I'm saying? So if she was telling me help me, that's what she meant. So later on in life, it was like I figured it out and I did what I could. You know what I'm saying? And I helped her. So I just had to tell somebody that, you know what I'm saying? The girl in the dream. R.I.P. to my nigga Rallo. It's going down, man. I'm gonna drop some more videos. Y'all, wait on your boy. I got some good shit coming.